Hey everyone, Dr. Doss here from Endurance Chiropractic. Doesn't elbow and wrist pain just make your day horrible? You reach to grab a coffee cup, you try to type on the computer, and it just seems to get worse. What if I told you there were things you could do at home to help knock some of this out? Stick with us and let's have some fun. So elbow and wrist pain is something that's kind of universal. It hits people that work at a desk, it hits people that work with their hands. It really doesn't discriminate. Why is that? Most commonly we see elbow pain in the medial and in the lateral elbow, and it's also commonly called golfer's and tennis elbow. But what's the point behind it? You have muscles that run all the way up from your wrist and they attach at the elbow. The ones that attach on the inside are your flexors and your pronators. The ones that are on the outer portion are your extensors and your supinators. So the problem is, whatever you end up doing throughout your day that overworks those muscles will lead to irritation of that tendon, especially if you're not doing anything to walk yourself back away. I tell all of my patients, every job has its hazard. Once you recognize it, then you can take steps to step away from it. Here's some of the steps that we can work on for elbow discomfort. The first one that I really like is a lacrosse ball, a golf ball, something like that. You take that ball, you place it in the forearm, and you just kind of mash down a little bit. And you find that tender spot. This is a search and destroy mission. So you're going to get right through there. I've got one right about there. We're going to hold on. You can even extend your wrist, pronate and supinate your wrist. You can rock back and forth with that ball. You can do the same thing with a thumb or fingers, and just kind of move it around. Find that tender spot, stretch it out just a little bit, right through here. Another important thing is we can actually see trouble in this muscle right here called your pronator. Who here's heard of carpal tunnel? We all have, right? Did you know that it's misdiagnosed a giant portion of the time because there is a muscle right here. There's also a nerve right here. When this muscle, the pronator, gets angry, it slams down on top of that nerve, and it creates palm pain, okay? So how do we differentiate it? There's certain tests that we do in the office to determine, are we dealing with a pronator syndrome? Are we dealing with carpal tunnel? This is why we're doing the elbow and the wrist together, because the thing that helps one generally helps the other as well. So as we go through, we're gonna work that lacrosse ball through the forearm. You can do the same thing on the back side. Back and forth, get it all the way up to that point right up here, just off of the bone. If any of this creates any sharp radiating or burning pain, get off of that spot. There's some nerves that are pretty close to the skin. You don't want to irritate those. So now let's go ahead and jump into some stretches since we've used the lacrosse ball. This one right here is very straightforward, but very helpful. You're gonna go palm out. You're gonna grab your index and your middle finger and pull down towards the same-sided hip. So this is my right hand. I'm pulling to my right hip. We're gonna hang out there for 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds, we're gonna shake it out just a little bit. Grab the index and the middle finger again with your palm down and pull to the hip. This will be stretching the top. The other one was stretching the bottom. Doing this twice, 30 seconds each, will help make sure that we're loosening those muscles that help flex and extend the wrist, but it also will help when you're palm up on that pronator for the wrist. Next, what we're gonna do, one of the reasons that we see people get stuck here is because their shoulders begin to roll forward. This is also the point where I say, go back and reference our ergonomics video. You'll find some stuff in there that'll be really beneficial for you. But here, we're gonna do a simple pec stretch. The way that I like to do this is you're gonna take your hand, place it against the wall, and rotate away. If you do this in the right way, you're gonna feel a pull all the way from the palm, all the way up the arm and into your pec. If your arms are too tight and you can't get that pull in the pec, put the hand behind you and rotate that way. This takes stress out of the wrist because it's not as extended, and it pulls it up into the pec. The other way that you can do this is you can walk into a doorway and lean in. Letting your body lean in there will stretch both pecs at the same time. One more thing that I really like to do for elbows is a thing called ice massage. Ice massage is a specialized type of cryotherapy, and what I recommend you do is go to the store, go grab some of the little styrofoam coffee cups, Fill them about 3/4 of the way with water and put them in the freezer. The next day, several hours later, you should have a solid block of ice surrounded by styrofoam. What you're then going to do is tear away half the cup. You're going to hold the styrofoam portion, and then you're going to begin massaging right over top of that elbow, whether it be the inner or the outer. You're going to keep it moving. You do not let it stop. As you were taught, we don't want to put bare ice on skin, right? It's okay as long as we keep it moving. You're going to experience 4 different sensations: C, B, A, and N. C-band: cold, burning, achy, and numb. You are done when you either hit 6 minutes or numbness. It doesn't matter which one comes first. If one shows up, you stop. At that point, you're just going to cause more tissue damage and you run the risk of issues with ice. So that's a great way to help knock that inflammation out. Give it a chance and let me know what you think. As with anything in the rehab world, we want to make sure that we're not making those radiating symptoms or the sharp pains increase. It's okay to see soreness. It's okay to see a little bit of achiness after you work on it. But those nagging, those sharp, stabbing, burning, numb, tingly, those are not things that we want to see. Like I said before, there's some nerves that are pretty superficial here. You don't want to be poking on them and creating more trouble. So if you're doing these exercises and it makes it worse, or you're not seeing the change that you want to see, be sure to talk to your provider. So a lot of wrist, elbow, and shoulder issues come down to your ergonomics. How are you working at the computer? How are you picking up that box? How are you sitting at your desk? If you notice those things, you can take steps to walk yourself back away. I hope you got something that was helpful to you, and we'll see you later.